Hi there, this is Mike Rogers, and this is a live demonstration of my regional white balance correction software. So the basic idea behind this software is it allows for targeted color correction, not just across an entire image, but within different regions, and will color correct different parts of an image differently depending on what's going on with the lighting situation in that area. So we'll start off with this image here. So we'll create in this this grid window here, which represents basically the screen or the image that we're editing. We'll just do we'll just rough in over these cabinets there, right? And we'll do the same thing in the ceiling, and we'll create a different swatch just by deselecting it and clicking on the screen again. We'll create a second swatch, and then we can put a slight inset from the swatches. And now what we can do with this is take these scans that were made with a color scanner on site, and we will assign these to the surfaces in the image. So this is a color scan of the cupboards in the kitchen. Make sure I got the right one here. Yeah, oh no, I didn't have the right one. There we go. This is the right one. Okay. And we will do the same thing with the other one. So we'll have our paint scan from the living room kitchen, and we will apply that to this one here. And all right, and here is the result. And this is a 50-50 blend between the vector, the 3D color vector color correction, which triangulates the color space based on these input values, and the temperature tint adjustment value propagation. So now, and you can see that each individual tile has its own white balance value, and they've all been adjusted in such a way that maintains the color value of the swatch to the paint itself and to the image itself. So that's effectively how we control the light field, the luminance field across the image to be able to have fine grain control over the color of the image. Also, there's some secondary elements relating to, for example, luminance and saturation that we can also adjust parts of the image. So we have our luminance slider here, and if we select our swatch that is covering our cupboards mask, we can actually do a local gradient adjustment on those. We can do the same thing with our wall and ceiling color. We can brighten that up just from the mask a little bit. Or if, for example, we wanted to adjust just a single mask, like one of these specific areas. Let's say we wanted under here to be darker for some reason. We can click this mask, and locally we can dim these areas, and everything, because it's basically a light field propagation, has very natural fall off to it, so everything looks still very real and natural, and interacts with the environment the way light does, right? There's also saturation elements too. We can adjust elements of saturation with these sliders. So if, let's say, hypothetically, we wanted this the ceiling part, the ceiling mask here, to be more saturated, we could turn that up a little bit from there, and you'll see the saturation up in the ceiling kind of go up a little bit. Also, too, this is a good introduction to what we have with our active grids for so we have a saturation grid and a luminance grid, which is specifically, you activate it, and then you can create fine grain controls of both saturation and luminance as it propagates across the image. So, for example, let's say we're working with this image here, and we want to dial the saturation of this area right here down a little bit, right? We can select our brush tool, for example, and we'll just make a little mask right there, deselect it, kind of block it off, easy peasy. And then we select this mask, and here we can control its saturation. We've just kind of dialed it in there, right? So then we can just kind of set that to, whatever we like, really. Maybe over here it's a little bit too much, so we can select this mask. See, pull it back right there. And of course, you don't have to be, I'm just using this as a demonstration that how it affects the scene is it basically just neutralizes those elements and allows you to have more fine grain control. Same with the luminance, you can brighten that up right there, and we can create a luminance grid also. So let's say we'll just keep our brush active. We're just going to make the window maybe a tiny little bit darker, just a tiny little bit. And this doesn't have to be, this is not a fine grain control. This is just adjusting the light cast that you see across the room, right? Yes, but anyway, also too, as well, there's here's an example of the normalization. So luminance normalization and saturation normalization. What these effects will do is they will draw all the tiles close to a uniform center. So right. So you can see all the shadow areas there. As I pull up the normalize mask area, it smooths those shadows out and makes it look a little bit flatter. So that's also an option. I'm right now in the process of looking at doing a Kickstarter program, and the reason I'm making this video is as a little demo to what the tool can do, as well as also looking for some any kind of feedback relating to whether or not this would be a tool that you would be interested in using, how beneficial it would be for you, any additional features that you would find useful, etc., etc., things like that.